Maddy Thorson. Maddy Thorson, born Matt Thorson, 18 March 1988, is a Canadian video game developer, known as one of the lead creators for the video games TowerFall and Celeste, developed under the studio Matt Makes Games. Since September 2019, Thorson has effectively shut down Matt Makes Games to relaunch her team under Extremely OK Games. Early life. Maddy Thorson was born Matt Thorson on 18 March 1988. Thorson went to college at Grande Prairie Regional College in Alberta, Canada, studying computer science, during which one summer she worked at HermitWorks Entertainment, a local video game development studio. Career: Helix Games / Matt Makes Games. Around 14, Thorson's mother helped her acquire a copy of Game Maker, a software tool to help develop video games. Through working in Game Maker, she was connected to others in online forums who were also interested in making games, including Chevy Ray Johnston. She developed a number of small pay-what-you-want games through Game Maker in high school and through college, including Jumper and several sequels, FLL, and an untitled story. Several of her games were described as masochistic games that were extremely difficult for the player to complete. Thorson felt her goal was not to make her games near impossible, but instead to make games that helped direct the player to improve themselves so that the player could beat the challenges she made for them. Early games were published under the name Helix Games, but in April 2008, she rebranded it as Matt Makes Games, considering the name a more important brand for her work. Thorson's goal in college was to get a computer programming degree and join up with a large game development studio, but as she progressed, she realized she could still make video games without having to be attached to a studio. Following her graduation, Thorson moved into a Vancouver apartment with Johnston, where they shared game ideas. Most of these were browser games, and they successfully had a few of theirs published by Adult Swim Games on its site. Thorson and Johnston were frequented by friends they had made online. During a visit by Alec Holoka, he and Thorson participated in a local game jam and came up with an idea of a single-player platform game based on an out-of-shape archer trying to ascend a tower, collecting treasure and money to help with each attempt to climb it. They had considered pitching the idea to Adult Swim Games, but decided to expand the idea on their own, bringing in Johnston to help. The game morphed into a multiplayer battle game, where each player would try to defeat the others by shooting them with a bow and arrow while avoiding falling off the tower. Because of the frequent visitors to their apartment, they were able to gain feedback and improve the game to be a party-style title. This would ultimately become TowerFall, Thorson's first major commercial game. Recognizing the potential success of the title, Johnston suggested that they get a house in Vancouver to bring in others to help, which they acquired around October 2012, calling it the Indie House and inviting other collaborators to join them. Thorson incorporated Matt Makes Games as Matt Makes Games, Inc. shortly afterwards in November 2012. Later, Holoka recognized Thorson as TowerFall's main creator and relinquished his stake as a co-creator. Holoka remained on the game's development team as its composer. TowerFall was ultimately developed as an exclusive for the Ouya console. Following its initial release in 2013, the team reissued the game in 2014 as TowerFall Ascension for most other gaming platforms with additional features. TowerFall Ascension was critically praised, and within a month had brought in over $500,000. In August 2015, Thorson and Noel Berry, another member of Matt Makes Games, had a 4-day game jam to create a PIC-8 game about climbing a mountain with difficult jumping steps. When they completed this, they recognized the opportunity to flesh out the game into a full release, forming the basis of Celeste. Full work on the game started around January 2016. The game was released across multiple platforms in January 2018. By the end of 2018, it had sold more than 500,000 copies and received numerous industry awards. Extremely OK Games. On 5 September 2019, Thorson announced that they were effectively shutting down Matt Makes Games while re-establishing the same team under the new name Extremely OK Games, abbreviated EXOC. The purpose of the change was twofold. First, the new name recognized that Thorson was not the sole creative force behind the games and ensured that the whole team was fully recognized and shared in the collective output from the company. Second, the change coincided with a move to a new set of offices in Vancouver to house the entire team, which had been previously spread across the world, including some in Sao Paulo. EXOC was technically founded in March 2019, but the first 6 months had been spent working to move these international developers into Canada and dealing with immigration requirements. The Extremely OK name itself came from a humorous tweet that operations manager Heidi Mata had seen that wished its readers an extremely OK afternoon. Thorson stated that TowerFall and Celeste would remain published under Matt Makes Games and that the team had already started the early exploratory work for their next title, codenamed EXOK-1. With everyone in EXOC working in the same office, it had made development time faster, allowing them to test through multiple prototype games to come onto their next project within 6 months. The team went through 3 prototypes named EXOC 1 through 3, which Thorson said ventured way too far from our comfort zone for them to realistically ever get finished, before coming up with a 4th prototype that evolved into their first game under the Extremely OK name, Earthblade, announced in April 2021, described as an action game in a seamless pixel. Personal life. Thorson is trans and goes by she/they pronouns. By around 2020, she had adopted the name Maddy Thorson over her birth name. The character of Madeline in the game Celeste was shown to be transgender, which Thorson said in a later blog post reflected on her own coming to terms with her gender identity. Legacy. Thorson was named by Forbes as one of their 30 under 30 for gaming in 2014, recognizing them for the development of TowerFall.